Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hand of Fate 2. So let's continue. Let's see, trying to increase our defense to 60 to defeat Draknar the Mighty. That is this big ogre. We start this mission at 10 health. I've been able to get up to 50 health out of 105. But eating food does not restore your health. So, we're in the I believe the third level of this mission, so this is all going to end pretty soon here.
You must be ready for whatever will come. The usurper will give us no warning.
So there's a decent amount of fighting going on. Here we have wetland ambush. A slight rustling in the reeds is all the warning you get that your life is in grave danger. You've been ambushed. The cards I'm playing right now were recommended via the deck building recommendation button at the front, and so they've given me this orgling as a companion who has this great ability to taunt and effectively draw the attention of the enemies away. I just got an achievement for killing a bunch of Empire soldiers. My health is not doing particularly good here, though, as we can probably tell. My companion's about to die also. So it is very much a case that even having taken a little bit of a break between the last recording and this, that I've lost pace and I'm going to lose, or I could have just been doomed to lose anyways. If we fail on this second attempt on this mission, we'll just move on. This definitely is a mission that is going to center around picking very specific cards that could increase your health. With the brigands defeated, you search the area for supplies, you gain 4 fame. Gaining food is great and all, but it doesn't actually help me any. And going to the camp actually doesn't help me any.
The Empire has busily purged so many of the fantastic creatures from these lands, and yet they leave the gnomes.
Arg, a hideous goblin, a voice calls out as a dozen small creatures leap from the trees around you. The penalty for being a goblin is death. Make peace with your gods. This is gnomish exchange. And I am not a goblin, but my companion is, so not really sure what the move here is. I do think I have a grenade to throw, and so this is probably a good time to use it. Fiercely territorial, trespass on gnomish lands and face the consequences. Pesky, persistent, and impossible to hit. Gnomes cause snare, evade to avoid or struggle to break free. Gnomes can only be deterred with a finisher. Right. So I'm trying the right trigger, and it's not really working. Yeah, and they're stabbing me very slowly, lowering my health. And it says left trigger, and I'm like clicking left trigger, and I guess the idea is you're kicking them. So you just have to kind of avoid them until they fall to the ground and then kick them away. Interesting. So we've seen this fight, I think, at least once before, and it definitely seems like it is a case where it is trying to teach you to use finishers more often, but this type of fight doesn't happen that often. And certainly when you are short on life, you don't want to do anything extra. The battered gnomes pick themselves up from the battlefield and approach you cautiously. Alright, the penalty for the transgression is no longer death. We'll take We'd Like to Parley. We seek arms to defend ourselves, a gnome declares loudly. Hand over your equipment and we'll release you. We'll even pay you something. I'll give you some food for a helmet. A small folk exclaims, I'll share the secrets of the land for a ring. Let's go ahead and give them something. Although, maybe the trick is just to refuse here to get the reward. Let's see. We can give them the healing spirit since that's useless anyways. Surrender the equipment to the gnome satisfied. They offer payment in return. I guess blessing? Escape. Optionally move directly to the level exit after any encounter where you gained a life pain card. Cannot be used at camp. Okay. The gnomes retreat to the forest with their prize and soon begin fighting over it. You gain 2 fame. Now, noticeably, that didn't end with us getting a reward coin. Okay, so we could either go forward on the King's Road, or we can try and look at the couple of events left. And maybe the move here is to actually just move forward to the end. A lot of these are just the same thing over and over again, where you're going to fight one of 2 people, and we'll fight the raiders this time. One-handed weapons are recommended. But yeah, particularly in this scenario, you do seem to just constantly well, if it's literally only one shaman character, I might not really need to do too much here. We can just target that one shaman character. Now notice the hat was knocked off in that fight, and it looked like just a regular enemy beneath it with kind of blondish, orangish hair, which is not really what I would have expected. With the raiders defeated, you notice some equipment hidden in the path of the mire. Perhaps they were guarding it. Let's see if we can get a dice roll to win. We'll want to re-roll 2 of those at least. Probably should start re-rolling like 4s. Yeah, we're getting a lot of fame, but I'm failing the dice rolls over and over again.
The goblins now have the resources to field their own combatants.
So here's a card that was randomly, or supposedly strategically picked. Payment due. You feel a firm pair of hands grip around your shoulders and yank you into a nearby alley. The biggest goblin you've ever seen lurks in the shadows, bouncing on top of his top hat is the helm of an obvious arcane power. He touches the brim in acknowledgement. I've heard you helped my father while he was in a bit of a scrape. He gestures behind him, and a small goblin steps sheepishly in the light. It gives you a little wave of recognition. Now, what he gave you wasn't his to give. I don't blame him, but I have to ask you to return what he paid, plus a little extra for the inconvenience. You feel a sudden lightness in your haversack. The goblins bound out of the alley, whooping and cackling. You pursue your muggers into the courtyard and encounter the backup as the goblins brandish their weapons. You grab whatever is closest at hand to make your attack. Light weapons are recommended against goblins. So, which ones are light? Those would be light. And it seems like we have no choice here but to end up in a fight. This feels like this is a big fight. These look like new enemies that we haven't seen before. Goblin archers, they hone their skills hunting fire lizards deep underground. They'll make short work of you. Goblin archers use heavy attacks from range to defend with a shield or else evade with your life. I have 13 health. If I manage to not die here, I will be rather surprised. Here, we need to kill this guy quickly. That guy was about to escape with the gold. I am shocked I made it this far. I'm down to 5 alive. Despite your valiant efforts, the thieves escaped down the portal with the contents of your haversack. You stare sadly at the empty pouch of cobblestones for a while and contemplate your loss. I gained 10 gold. Talk to Hubie at the campfire to recharge artifacts. We might as well camp here. We might as well recharge our bomb, since we have no more uses from it.
A useful skill, yet one that concerns me. When I designed the game, I placed limits on it for a reason.
Alright. 1 food would restore 0 life. We can't afford this equipment. We can only sell this equipment. We can buy food for not much of a reason. I guess we will do that anyways. I almost should cook food just to see. Yeah, just to see if there was an achievement around that. Okay, well, we've lucked our way into just making it to the next level. And we gave our armor to this blacksmith. We should have given our shield because we weren't even using the shield, and thus our defense would have stayed high. May have helped me quite a bit. Anders greets you with a smile. "Ah, there you are. We were just about to leave. You must be wanting this." Now, he said he was going to upgrade the armor. Now, my question is, am I going to get a completely different type of armor or just a stronger defense with the exact same attributes otherwise?
Simply the middle road.
Leather armor with a defense of 18 versus the Adventure's Carbs, which has a defense of 0. If we could get our armor up to 60, our defense up to 60, we would probably not take damage from anything. The smith's workmanship is exemplary. The armor feels stronger than it once was, yet its weight remains unchanged. Let's see, we'll see if we can upgrade the shield this time, since we're not using it. Yeah, the smith, your old worn shield. This thing is more pot lid than shield. It's not even worth fixing, he says with a frown. I'll tell you what, take this one on the house. So we just have a shield now. Apparently I didn't have a shield. You know, with a little work, that shield could come up nice. Let's go ahead and upgrade the shield they just gave us. Yes, I can certainly improve this, but it'll take several days. I'm heading to Evergreen. Meet me there and the job will be done. Oh, if you bring me another item there, I'll see if I can improve that one as well. You thank Anders and continue on your way. So it seems like, even though we're already at the 3rd level and we haven't seen more than 3 levels in any other mission, seems like we're going to have a 4th level in this case. But odds are very low I'll make it that far. Maybe winter solstice here can save us. On the longest night in winter, the townsfolk at Stiegel set up a huge bonfire to celebrate the victory of light over darkness. The one knight of the Empire turns a blind eye to the outlawed use of magic. You join a group of peasants close to the fire, taking a sip. The woman beside you offers you a goblet. You politely accept the pungent potion, take a quick swig. Warmth rushes through your body and you fall into a deep hypnotic trance as you stare into the dancing flames. The townsfolk chant, calling on the mountain spirits in a flurry of snow. Spirits descend and join the festivity. A curious white owl perches next to you and speaks. I sense a magical air about you. If you feel particularly inclined, will you share your blessing in exchange for longevity? So I think I'm supposed to be trading my blessing to this owl. Which, okay, we will do that. He nuzzles against your arm as he awaits your response. So we give him one blessing. Creature lets out an ear-piercing squawk. Morton's magic door we were probably never going to use. A tingling sensation flows through your body. Gain 15 max life, which also gave me 15 life. You gaze into the flames as the festivities continue around you. You wake to find yourself in a stable nested among a herd of cows. On your way out, you spot a few unconscious Empire guards huddled together outside the stable. Okay. So that was probably a decent trade. I feel like at this point, though, we've got to play more strategically, so I don't really want to go up here. I'm just going to try and go down here and go to the lower right corner. Just trying to reduce the number of encounters as much as possible. I do think I am getting better at hitting these guys and stopping their attacks, but perhaps not quite good enough when it comes down to every single health mattering. Even on easy mode, every single health is mattering. I imagine this would be a nightmare if I wasn't playing. You know, on second thought, we might as well just do everything because we're trying to also get our defense up to 60, and that's just not going to happen if we're not careful. Walking through the shady forest, you encounter a frail old maiden. She stops to greet you. For centuries, I've helped the mortals who find themselves lost in the forest. Is there anything that may help you on your journey? Let's ask for a longer life. May you have a longer life, she says with a fragile wave of her hand. You feel warmth through your body. We're increasing our max life, but not really increasing our current life.
You'd be right to be suspicious, but then where is altruism in today's world? Fallen as far away as hope.
Dark alleys. You could buy the 3 of Arcane, or Terror of Blight, or 5 Skulls. So there's one group of people dragging locked chest behind them. Its contents unknown. In the other direction you see something glinting in the moonlight. Let's go with the unguarded equipment because the group that we were going to fight otherwise were already pretty big. But that group was even as big, so it maybe doesn't really matter that much. Skulls of Shadows. A wraith. Spurned on eternally by rage and sorrow, wraiths can drain life from an unavoidable spell. Attack them quickly in order to stop that. Like, we gotta find this wraith, and we gotta get her killed quickly. And we've got flame people here. Also, I'm down to 5 alive. And that's the end of it. Which I'm not surprised. Blood stains the ground beneath your corpse.
Every failure in combat can be balanced by success on the table.
So we did get at least one reward in the second attempt here. For listening to Hubie's prophecy, we've unlocked a orphan card that has like a coin on it. A companion card, it looks like, with a coin on it.
Think. Do not continue to fail me. I have need of your greatest efforts.
So, yeah. That's going to be it for the strength for a while. And I'd have to remind myself what the actual challenges were. For like the High Priestess, we know that needs blessings, but for the Emperor, we would have to... Yeah, we probably could do the Emperor encounter and get gold. And the Hierophant. We probably could do that one too, but there's just no reason to do any of those. We should just move on to the Hermit and do something new.
Has been with you along this road, aiding you at every step, aiding me. Neither of us would be here without him, yet he remains a mystery even to me.
Rumor has it that there is a powerful magician hidden in a devilishly confusing and dangerous forest of eternal snow. Find a way to reveal. Map reveal. Finding your way is one thing, knowing where to go is another. Avoid danger using map reveal. That may have been helpful in the strength encounter also. Explore. The road ahead may be long. Ensure you have enough food. An Empire. Prepare for combat against the Empire. Alright. So, who specifically would we want to play? Well, see, this one has a reward on it, so feels like the move is to take him again, and he isn't a terrible character to take anyways. So I'm gonna choose him, and then follow the goblin. Mayor of Earwater we can't do. Yelvin's Cottage, we don't know what that does. Right. We know what the Alchemist is. It's a wheel challenge, so we shouldn't try that. This one has a reveal map. Possibility that I guess maybe that's the thing we haven't done here. Is that not on this screen it shows all the icons bordered in gray. But on this screen, there's a bluish hue on reveal map. And so we know, I think, that that is what we should be trying for. And then Market Thief would be about losing food. We don't want that. Let's see. The underneath would be about trading food. We don't want that. This one is Reveal Map again. Let's see. We'll take that. So this one would be about gaining food or trading food. And trading food. This one, the duel's about fighting the Empire. Reveal map. So then I guess the question is, why have we not gotten the shard from Winter Solstice? We've gained max life. We apparently have gained dice and traded blessings. So what's the other secret or option? We don't know what this will do. We don't know what this will do. We don't know what this will do. We don't know what that'll do. And then we already know what all of these will do. So this one has an opportunity for a map revealed, but weirdly, we already got the shard on this. So there's things that can be done and things we haven't seen for cards that even are not marked as new and don't have anything else going on for them. Interesting. And see, so that must not be what the blue means. The blue must be a...
The ride to our destination is only so long. I would have you
have
prepared
like
before we arrive.
You have all these kinds of filters here that you can do. I don't think the filters are particularly useful. So I'm gonna have to reevaluate this and just assume that when something is highlighted in blue like this, it probably means that it is something that would be recommended. But cartographer may be influenced by the amount map revealed, where we really want something more like Explore the Wilds. Okay. So I think that's a decent choice. And that does imply to me that whatever it is that's required to do to get the shards isn't really being indicated by the blue outline. Blue outline is just what they would recommend. Right. So, we don't know what this weapon would do. We don't know what this would do. We don't know what this would do. I think pious robes would stop us from starving, which might be helpful. We don't know what that would do. We don't know what that would do. We don't know what that would do either. Feel like that's still worth playing. Map reveal will take on that point. Some of these cards are nice sounding, but it'd be hard to justify picking. Okay. And so we can take 3 supplies with us, so it's probably wise. We're going to be fighting the Empire, so we should inspect each weapon to figure out which one would be the best to potentially take. Yeah. Knowing where you can find a merchant might be helpful. Starting with armor might be helpful. I really haven't reposited any thieves with that weapon. Haven't fought any shadows with that weapon. Probably not going to reposit northerners with that weapon. This one is just use the yeah, that's probably a good one to pick also. So yeah, let's go ahead and start, and we'll just start in the middle here.
I have spent more time alone than any hermit could imagine. In truth, it is only your ignorance that leaves these cards occupied by such commoners. Now we seek a man who does not wish to be found. Yet without him, your quest is impossible.
So while exploring the wildlands, you arrive quite suddenly at the fringes of a curiously enchanted winter forest. Where you stand, it is a warm summer afternoon, yet only 10 steps away. The cedars are gray with frost, and the ground is blanketed in thick snow. Horrendous, you turn in surprise to face the speaker. An Empire general in an impressively plumbed helm approaches you. A sizable company of Empire soldiers are arrayed behind him. Horrendous, isn't it? This smear of obstinate mage filth stained the land. You and your squire, he glances at hubby, should leave. This frozen waste is no place for common folk. The ground changes underfoot, and blizzards tear your skin to shreds. He gestures, and his troops split into small parties and head into the wasteland. He turns to you, bows deeply before following the last party in. Never fear, citizen, this mage will meet the blade of Empire's justice. So we're going to enter the Hermit's Forest. It seems like our gold challenge is the Empire is 40 days away, and we have a giant playfield here, which makes me suspect that we won't see more than 2 levels. Hubily excitedly rushes into the snow and immediately clambering into a tree. You take your first steps into the strange winter forest. Alright. So we'll go one way.
The storm will delay you, but it will also delay those who are hunting your prey.
With a little warning, a snowstorm sweeps in from the north. The snow whips against you like shards of glass, obscures your vision. You struggle to find cover. So now the Empire is 39 days away. So every step in this game is a day. Which is interesting that they haven't established that before this point. Like, we're really deep into this game. 16 episodes. So you would think it would have been mentioned. The storm tears through the forest, erasing your tracks. The Empire falls 4 days behind. Interesting. So I'm gonna pick the first one. So now the Empire is 43 days away. You fall half blinded to a cave obscured by rock and bramble, the perfect shelter from the storm. Right. So the hope is to not end up on the edges, and maybe just spiral around anyways. Yeah. There is a slight logic here. if you'd started here and you got a map reveal card, it may only have revealed the left and right, but you start here or here or here, and then that would have been a map reveal card. And honestly, I probably should have started down here in case it revealed diagonal. So if we spiral now this way, any map reveal card may help us skip some spots.
Farmers know better than any other that we reap the rewards of our earlier efforts.
Across the snow-covered field, you see a lonely homestead. As you approach, you're greeted by the occupants, a farmer and his family. The farmer wrings his hands nervously as he fights his pride. I don't suppose you could spare my family some food. We have very few supplies to last us this winter. We would be most grateful. I have 8 food. I'm gonna give all 8 food to see if that works. Bless your soul, the farmer gasps as you hand him the food. This is more than I could have ever expected from a stranger. I will spread word of this deed, and come the harvest I will repay the gesture as best as I can. The dealer adds an encounter card to the deck. You gain 2 fame. So now we have a harvest card that will pay off. Of course, I'm going to starve now with heavy step.
The Empire set signs in order to guide the rest of their forces. Fortunately, you too can follow.
Find a tree etched with a strange marking in the sign pointing. Is this sign pointing toward the hermit? Further in. Why is this labeled as a fire card or a brimstone card? That's what they're actually calling them. I noticed when we were selecting cards. There were platinum cards, there were brimstone cards. The clean stone is marred with heavy footsteps. The Empire must be ahead of you. The Empire draws 4 days closer to the hermit. Not knowing what else to do, you press on. Okay. So you're almost certainly going to lose if you take every single encounter. But I don't know what else to do here.
Here's a token for you, if you can earn it.
Yvonne's cottage. By the side of a waterfall, you meet a young woman with a striking gray hair. She is holding a baby. Greetings, traveler. Treat these waters with caution. They are not to be meddled with. If you're perched, you're welcome to stop by my cottage. I have a pie cooling on my windowsill, too. Behind her, a little wooden sign reads, Waterfall of Youth, very dangerous. Stay clear. I wonder if that baby was an old person at one point. I'm Yvonne, the woman says as she leads you to her cottage. As was promised, our hearty beef pie awaits you. You enjoy it with a side of mashed potatoes. There's some food, so we'll no longer starve. With the meal finished, Yvonne asks you to help her while she puts the baby to sleep. The rare sunshine flower grows nearby. She'd like you to gather a bloom. It feels impolite to refuse. The sunshine sprouts from the rocks behind the waterfall. If you were careful, you could climb out and retrieve one without falling into the water. So, this may be a trick where she tricks people to fall into the waterfall, or she tries to get people to get the flower but doesn't. But then they fall into the waterfall and get turned into babies. Let's see. It'd be a more interesting story if she was just obsessed with having a baby always, and so she's tricking people to be babies always. We might as well try. Let's try and retrieve the flower. Remembering the warning, you inch your way along the rock wall, gingerly moving from stone to stone. Hubie merely dives in and begins paddling about in the strong current. He seems unaffected by the water. Somehow you don't trust it will affect you the same. Okay, so we are just... Whoops.
The pendulum is ever changing, and the challenges it presents change too.
I screwed that up, and they weren't even swinging back and forth. That should have been really easy. An arm's length from the flower, you lose your balance and tumble into the water, cracking your head against the stones. churning waterfall knocks the air out of your lungs. You sink into the blackness of the foaming river. You shake your head groggily and pull yourself from the river. The current has deposited you somewhere far from Yvonne's cottage. When you look into the mirror that night, you notice lines on your face have disappeared. I was hoping it would have given me a second chance there, but alas, I screwed it up. Let's go over this way.
Will you aid the Empire? Leave them lost, I say.
You happen upon the Empire's scouting party as you cross the grassy hillock. The soldiers are keen to trade information about the region. We should trade this 6 that we've seen for 3 encounter cards. You and your soldiers compare notes. Okay. Yeah. And again, the problem that I'm uniquely having with a lot of games these days as my eyesight gets worse is I'm looking at this on a TV from 8 feet away. And so I really can't read what these cards say. But I kind of know where I'm going, at least. So we'll leave it at that. Looks like we'll be back in the capital by the end of the week. One of the soldier comments as you continue your journey. Yeah. It's more zoomed in when you bring up the map. So we have this Sharptooth character that maybe he's in the encounter we should do. Meanwhile, I guess maybe you go downward. Let's just go downward and see what happens here. Another brimstone card, making the people closer.
The Empire has made killing mages a core pursuit. Fortunately, a mage is a cunning prey.
While trudging through the snow, you hear a shout and the sound of swords being drawn. It's only a matter of time before the sounds of combat attract another patrol. And so we've gotten into a fight that we probably could have just, at least storyline-wise, avoided. Yeah, I really don't know why I'm fighting the Empire here. Let's see. I think my axe here is really the right weapon for this fight. It just kind of cuts through the defenses very well. Now, arguably, if this game is going to show us that kind of awkward ragdolls after we kill an enemy, they probably should have some level of bloodiness to them. It does seem like it's in an awkward middle ground there where we're allowing to animate people being dead but no blood and no realism, and it just makes the characters look very much like puppets. Perhaps what would have been wiser than showing blood would have been to have the characters just magically disappear once they've been knocked down, or turn into even little figurines to indicate that none of this is really happening. That would keep the game more family friendly, and this is a game that probably works better if it stays family friendly. You loot the bodies and hurry away. You gain 4 fame.
Nations hold themselves in such high regard. The Southerners raise themselves in contrast to their neighbors, and so the distances between us continue.
So, with the elusive charm, we get out of snare traps that easier. That's good to know.
Hurry. You must find the secret the hermit holds.
You follow the sounds of screams and clashing metal to find a company of Empire soldiers tearing down tins and executing cowering mages. I wonder if this isn't the case in this scenario where I have just one, despite the fact that there are 4, 8, 9 encounters on the field still. This may just be the big boss fight. Which that would work out very nicely for this episode. If it happened to happen that way. The yell when you use your finisher ability is a little much considering how often I'm using the finisher ability. And I guess those were mages that were fighting alongside me. It's so crazy that you get this little micro stutter when it's loading in and out, when really the visual effect of the red and blue energy should just be a video. If you can't animate it smoothly, which seems like this game can't, while also streaming in and loading in more video graphics and more textures, then yeah, just pre-rendering it and having it play in the background is something that can be done. Although maybe that is pushing in part the limitations of the Unity engine without better optimization of the Unity engine. I imagine increasingly games are becoming less and less optimized.
I could not be more
as
pleased to
people
train
are using third-party.
You have every skill Callus lacked. Patience.
Every
delicacy,
third-party engine
tact,
is
skill.
trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Mages are great for your intervention. You gain 4 fame. The tent village is well hidden in the sweeping snow and fog. You can spend time here in exchange for resources. If we spend 2 days, we'll draw 1 food gain card, which is probably worth it. If we spend 5 days, we'll draw an equipment gain card. Let's start by just asking about the hermit. Mage draws a rune in the snow and says the hermit enchanted the forest to protect us. I'm not sure how he does it. Perhaps blood magic. Alright, well, food gain card. You spend a few days helping harvest snowberries and other poisonous looking plants from the forest. Your hands grow numb from the cold. The mages gift you with soft blocks of pounded felonwort mixture with syrup. The package smells faintly of cinnamon. Seems like we could do this again. So, should we do this again? Well, we're skipping so many events anyways doing this, so let's just spend 5 days and get an equipment. You spend the day patching up a mage's tent. A snake goblin toward those holes when it escaped, he explains. You earn some equipment in return. Throw a bomb that causes 30 damage and slow the Empire enemies. I will use that. Now, would I waste too much time? Yeah. I think I'd waste too much time if I was to try to get more food or more equipment. And it's not like there's a shard or a reward for doing it this more often. Let's just continue our journey. Mages point you vaguely in the hermit's direction, even though they're not certain of his whereabouts. Across the Silver River, through the Twin Oaks. So there is a whole second level here that is going to once again just be a group of cards, which makes me wonder if there is not a second group of cards. I really wish this table was just better animated and that you could actually go further in the edges to see how the whole layout is. We still haven't really seen anything as far as this hourglass or this spell book, although the pages of the spell book look like they may be randomly changing each mission. Alright, well, there was that slight chance that this would be just an incredibly short mission to have us finish this mission, even though we started it halfway through this episode. But that's not going to happen. So now is the right time to end this episode. We'll start up again right from this position next time. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.